Chants for change were heard through the streets of Brunswick this afternoon. Change in the legal system, justice for Ahmaud Arbery. Hundreds gathered at a rally organized by the American Civil Liberties Union of Georgia. And On Your Side's Kaylee Tracy was there and has Arbery's family's reaction to the support they say hundreds showed today.
Hundreds of people gathered here in front of the Glenn County Courthouse Saturday for a rally demanding justice for Ahmaud Arbery.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
On the lawn in front of the Glenn County Courthouse Saturday, hundreds chanted for justice for Ahmaud Arbery at the rally organized by the ACLU of Georgia.
This is a fight that you will have to continue until justice truly rolls down like water.
People from all creeds, from all walks and religions, from all races have come together to again say, we will not accept this type of behavior.
Crowds caravaned from Atlanta and other parts of the state, all calling for District Attorneys Jackie Johnson and George Barnhill, who have recused themselves from the case due to conflicts of interest, to resign.
They must go. They must go.
And I believe that this is a crowd of people declaring that enough is enough. Our justice system has to be fair for all people.
The crowd then marched through the streets of Brunswick, kneeling, taking 74 seconds of silence to mark the 74 days from Arbery's death to when there was an arrest, and kept marching to the steps of City Hall, then to the steps of the courthouse, with Arbery's sister leading the walk and neighbors chanting along with the crowd.
I hate to feel like he was sacrificed, but that's how I feel about it.
The Glenn County Sheriff walked with the community. He did not want to talk on camera, but said if they want to march, I'll march right along with them. That march they called the 1,000-man stand through the streets of Brunswick. Reporting in Brunswick, Kaylee Tracy, First Coast News, On Your Side.